All right. Good evening, everyone. So, good evening, gang. All right. So, you are discussing structure of atom, right? Good evening, Namrata, Saksha, Meghna, Athar, Viresh, Dhanush, Sakshi, Chetna, Ravi Kumar, Lasya, Monisha, Sanjana, Ganesh, Parvati, Basavraj. Good evening, Advait. Good evening, Naren. Good evening, PK. Chalo, let's start then. Good evening, Ravi Kumar, Ravi Kiran. Yes. So yesterday we had finished structure of atom. Before I proceed ahead, the students who are preparing for the MCQ based exams, like the classes which you are doing, are not relevant for your board exams. Okay? So if you are not going to write the competitive exam, JEE and all, NEET and all, please don't attempt. Save time, prepare for your board exams. That's the suggestion. Okay? Midterm exam. Chalo. Let's move ahead. So we are finished till Bohr's model of an atom. So what we are going to do today is hydrogen spectra, right? Atomic spectra, and explanation of spectra from Bohr's model. We'll do that. Rydberg formula, and then Schrodinger equation and quantum numbers. This is what we are going to do. Okay? Yes. So also, yeah, that's all. Let's move ahead. So I think I had not given you this as homework question. I guess I don't know whether I have put it also. You can do these questions. These are easy questions. So let's move ahead. So atomic spectra using Bohr's model. Spectra, hydrogen spectra, you can say, using Bohr's model, right? So now I'm not going into the definitions of atomic spectra, why and emission spectra, absorption spectra, all those things I'm not discussing, right? I will tell you only how hydrogen spectra is observed, right? And how you get Rydberg formula out of it. Okay? So now see carefully. All of you are aware of that when your white light falls on a prism, it splits into 7 colors. Right? This forms a continuous spectrum or band spectrum. It forms a continuous spectrum or band spectrum. But sometimes you get discontinuous spectrum called emission spectrum, discontinuous spectrum called emission or absorption spectrum, discontinuous spectrum, it is of two types, emission and absorption. You can read it from textbook. What is the difference between them? What is the difference between absorption and emission spectrum? Not very important, but still, just give it a read. Diagram hai textbook mein, ek dekh lo. That's all. Now we'll discuss about hydrogen spectra. Hydrogen spectra is a type of emission spectra. So how do you plot hydrogen spectra? So if you see hydrogen atom electronic configuration is 1s1. There is a nucleus, number of shells. So electron lies in first shell. Electron lies in first shell. So now, if this electron gets a photon of energy, if you throw a photon of energy h nu, what will happen to this electron? This electron will get excited to higher energy state. Let us say it went to 7th state. From first ground state was n equal to 1 was your ground state. Now it went to n equal to 7. That is your excited state. Now it will not always remain in excited state. It will come back to the ground state. How will it come back to the ground state? What are the possibilities? What are the possibilities? N equal to 2, n equal to 3, n equal to 4, n equal to 5, n equal to 6. Now while coming back to the ground state, right? So to go from lower state to higher state, it absorbs energy. While coming back to the ground state, it will lose energy. So the possibility is it may come directly from 7 to 1. So when it comes from directly 7 to 1, how much energy it will lose? It will lose the energy of E7 minus E1, delta E. It will lose some energy, delta E, right? E7 minus E1. Now, the other possibilities, it may go from 7 to 5 and then come from 5 to 1. That is also the possibility. So when it goes from 7 to 5, during this transition, delta E2, how much energy it will emit? E7 minus E5. For example, let us say it was at 2 joule energy. It went to 6 joule energy. So while coming from 6 joule to 2 joule, how much energy it should lose? 6 joule minus 2 joule. 4 joule energy it should lose. Difference. Correct? Now, similarly, it can come from 7 to 4, 4 to 2, 2 to 1. So there are many possibilities. Correct? So when you're plotting a hydrogen spectra, intensity versus lambda. So for this 7 to 1, there will be some energy, right? Energy lost, right? And this energy lost can be represented in the form of photon, h nu, which can be represented in the form of wavelength, lambda. So for each transition, there will be one photon. For each photon, there will be some wavelength, correct? So let us say this corresponds to your delta E1, right? So delta E1 transition ka wavelength is here, lambda 1. Similarly, delta E2 will be having some wavelength. It will occur at some wavelength, lambda 2. Then this will occur, delta E2. So similarly, there will be one more line, lambda 3. So for each photon emitted, you'll get one line. So you can write here, for each photon emitted, we get one line. For each photon emitted, one line is observed. That means if there are 5 photons emitted, I is intensity. Yes. If 5 photons are emitted, 5 lines you will observe. So number of lines is equal to number of photons emitted. Or you can say number of lines is equal to number of transitions it will make. Correct? Yes. Is this clear? So question may come, why hydrogen has only 1 electron but still so many lines? Because the number of line does not depend upon number of electron. It depends upon how many transition it makes. If it goes from first cell to second cell, then there is only one possibility of transition, 2 to 1, only one line. If it goes from 4 to 3, 1 to 4, many possibilities are there. 4 to 1, 4 to 3, 3 to 2, 2 to 1, 4 to 2, then 2 to 1, 3 to 1. So there are many possibilities. So number of possibility does not depend upon number of electron. It depends upon where it is excited. So it depends upon excited state. Correct? So now number of lines ka formula, all of you must have read different formulas. How many lines will be observed? So number of lines in the spectra will be equal to, there are many formulas you would have observed. I generally use this formula, summation of N2 minus N1, where N2 is your excited state, N1 is your ground state. Easy formula to remember also. Okay? For example, it is coming from N equal to 7 to N equal to 1. So while coming from N equal to 7 to N equal to 1, how many possibilities are there? So that is your N2 is 7 minus 1. So summation of 6. Summation of 6 will be 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus 6. So add till 6. So how much it is? 11, 15, 18, 20, 21 lines you will observe. So total in the spectra you will observe 21 lines, right? So just take the summation of N2 minus N1. This will give you the total number of lines. Is that clear? So this is one important formula you need to remember. Correct? Yes, everyone. Is that clear? All the sleeping beasts. Chalo, good. I thought everybody slept off. I was about to dial ambulance to take you all back to hospital or / asylum, M asylum. Will these notes be uploaded? Till yesterday, I have uploaded all the notes. Today's also I will upload. Now, important thing, what I was saying. Now let us say if its ground state is N1, excited state is N2. While going from N1 to N2, how much energy change will take place? If its energy here is En1, here energy is En2, how much energy is required? Delta E will be En2 minus En1, final minus initial. Now you know Bohr's formula in joule, minus 2.18 into 10 power minus 18 Z square by N square in joule. Put that value here, energy. So you'll get delta E as minus 2.18 into 10 power minus 18 Z square by N2 square minus 2.18 into 10 power minus 18 Z square by N1 square. This is your formula you'll get. Now minus will become plus, and 2.18 10 power minus 18 can be taken common. So if you take delta E, your delta E comes out to be 2.18 into 10 power minus 18. So you'll get 1 by N1 square minus 1 by N2 square into Z square. Now delta E is Hc by lambda. Hc by lambda 2.18 into 10 power minus 18 joule, 1 by N1 square minus 1 by N2 square Z square. Now bring this Hc below here. So your 1 by lambda will come out to be 2.18 into 10 power minus 18. H ka value you know 6.6 into 10 power minus 34. C you know 3 into 10 power 8 meter per second. 1 by N1 square minus 1 by N2 square into Z square. Correct? And then your 1 by lambda, which is also known as wave number, will come out to be, this whole comes out to be constant. How much is this constant? This constant comes out to be how much? 109677 centimeter inverse. 1 by N1 square minus 1 by N2 square centimeter inverse. Z square is also there. This is also known as your Rydberg formula. From Bohr's model. And this is your Rydberg constant. This is your it is in meter inverse or centimeter inverse. Ganesh, check. Ganesh, 109677. If I remember correct, it is centimeter inverse. Just check once. Okay. So now, if you want, you can write this as what? Centimeter inverse. This can be written as what? 1.0 approximation ke liye you can write it as 1.09677. Right? Yes, 1.09677 into 10 power 5 centimeter inverse. Or you can write it as 10 power 5 centimeter inverse, or you can directly write 10 power 7 meter inverse also. So rather than solving this big value, you can directly write 10 power 5 centimeter inverse. If you want in meter inverse, 10 power 7 meter inverse. Both are correct. ठीक है? Centimeter inverse भी ले सकते हो, meter inverse भी ले सकते हो. Now using this formula, N1 is, see, generally people ignore this Z square. Z square is very important. So Rydberg formula में Z square नहीं है because they have taken hydrogen atom के लिए. Hydrogen atom के लिए Z is 1. But for other atoms, you have to take this. Now, you must have studied different series. Lyman series, Balmer series. So all different lines are categorized into different series. So let me draw it and show basically better. So you can draw the shells n equal to 1, n equal to 2, n equal to 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, etc. Right? So if you take this, now what happens is if your ground state is always N1, so all those lines which start wherever they want, but they end at 2 to 1, 3 to 1, 4 to 1, 5 to 1, 6 to 1, 7 to 1. All these transitions, which may start wherever they want, but they should end at 1. Their ground state should be 1, are categorized into Lyman series. And Lyman series lies in which region? Lies in UV region. Okay? And all those transitions which end at n equal to 2, which ends at n equal to 2, lies in which series? Ground state should be 2. Balmer series. And all those which ends at n equal to 3 lies in which series? Lyman, Balmer, Paschen series. And all those which ends at n equal to 4 lies in bracket series. And all those which ends at n equal to 5 lies in P-fund series. Right? These are the 5 series in your syllabus. Humphrey is not in your syllabus. So Balmer lies in visible region. The wavelength of all the transition, I said you right, every transition will have some delta E which will have some wavelength. So wavelength for each transition will lie in visible region, whereas these 3 will lie in IR region. Okay? Is that clear? So you can write it in short: Lyman, Balmer, Paschen, bracket, P-fund. N1, N2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. N2 can be 2 to infinity. N2 in excited state for Balmer will be 3 to infinity, 1 more than this, 4 to infinity. It can be anything, 5 to infinity, 6 to infinity. Right? So this is what it means. Now, what else I wanted to say here was, what is if they say find the wavelength of first line of Lyman series. So what is your first line of Lyman series? 2 to 1. Second line of Lyman series, 3 to 1. Third line of Lyman series, 4 to 1. Fourth line of Lyman series, 5 to 1. So you should know this. Alpha line. Sometimes they say alpha line, beta line, gamma line. So alpha line is again first line. Beta line, gamma line. So these questions you should be able to do. Is that clear? And sometimes they ask you to find shortest wavelength and longest wavelength. Shortest lambda. Don't by heart it. It's easy. Shortest lambda. So all of us know delta E is hc by lambda. So if lambda is shortest, that means energy gap for Lyman series I'm finding. You can find for others. For Lyman series, shortest wavelength means lambda is smallest, means delta E should be largest. Delta E is largest. When is delta E largest? Ground state is n equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So between 1 and 2, this much energy gap is there. 1 and 3, this much energy gap is there. 1 and 4, this much energy gap is there. For minimum wavelength, delta E should be maximum. When your delta E will be maximum? Your delta E will be maximum. Your delta E will be maximum when N1 is 1 and N2 is infinity. Energy gap should be maximum. So N1 is equal to 1 and N2 is equal to 2. Now you can use the formula. 1 by lambda is RH. 1 by N1 square minus 1 by N2 square into Z square. Correct? Now similarly, Lyman, longest wavelength. Delta E is hc by lambda. If lambda is longest, delta E should be minimum. When is delta E energy gap minimum? N equal to 1, N equal to 2, N equal to 3, and so on. So this is the first energy gap, 1 and 2. Between energy gap 1 and 3, 1 and 4, 1 and 5, energy gap is continuously increasing. Energy gap is minimum between what? 1 to 2. So therefore, lambda is maximum, means energy gap should be minimum. So you will take 1 to 2 transition. So delta N, or you can say N1 should be 1 for Lyman series, N2 should be 2. So do not confuse or by heart these things. This is very important. So this is your last slide, Rakshit. Yes, Rakshit, this is your last slide and this is your current slide. Yeah, anyone having any doubt in this? Anyone having any doubt in this? Please quickly revert. If there is any doubt in this, please quickly ask. Imagine if this chapter was revised like this, then you will not have to prepare for a major test only. Everything is in mind, that type. So this is an easy question. Calculate the number of lines when electron in hydrogen atom make transition from n equal to 4 to n equal to 1. n equal to 4 to n equal to 1. अरे बेटा previous 2 slides. जब मैं आगे चला जाता हूं तो why you ask me to go back? I showed you previous 2 slides, right? Last slide and current slide. Still you are asking. If you want to ask, beta, ask little early. Now I cannot leave the question and go back. Be little fast in asking. You can quickly calculate the number of lines and tell me the answer. I'm not raising poll. It will take time. You can type your answer on chat. Question is wrong. Why the question is wrong, man? Athar, why question is wrong, man? What's wrong with the question? I don't think so. Question is wrong. Huh? We'll see. Khushi Muddi. Okay. Got it. चलो, we'll discuss this. देखो जो हाँ आई नो वो फॉर्मूला मारा होगा उसने, इसीलिए फॉर्मूला मारने वालों का अक्सर ऐसा ही होता है. फॉर्मूला इज नॉट ऑलवेज रिलायबल. फॉर्मूला इसीलिए हमेशा रिलायबल नहीं होता, दिमाग लगाना जरूरी है. चलो लेट्स डिस्कस दिस. आई थिंक एवरीबॉडी हैज गॉट अ चांस टू सॉल्व दिस. तो इफ यू फाइंड टोटल नंबर ऑफ लाइंस, total number of lines will be summation of n2 minus n1. I am not using your formulas n into n minus 1 by 2, n2 minus n1 plus into n2 minus n1 plus n1 by 6. I am not using those formulas. Summation of n2 minus n1 will be summation of 4 minus 1. That is summation of 3. So if you apply summation of 3, 1 plus 2 plus 3, you get 6 lines. But this 6 lines include all Lyman, Balmer, Paschen, Brackett, Pfund, etc. He is asking only Lyman-Balmer series. So you have to see which 6 lines are these. So when it is coming from n equal to 1 to n equal to 4, from 1 to 4, if it is coming from 1 to 4, so what are the possibilities? What are the possibilities? 4 to 1, 4 to 3, 3 to 2, or let us take only from 4 first. 4 to 1, 4 to 3, 4 to 2. These are the possibilities, correct? From 4. Now from 3, 3 to 2 and 3 to 1. Now from 2, 2 to 1. These are the 6 lines. Let us label them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. These are the 6 lines. Now Lyman-Balmer series means what? Your ground state should be 2. Your ground state should be 2, or you can label them also. 4 to 1, 4 to 1, right? 4 to 1. That means ground state is 1. So Lyman series, it lies in Lyman series. Then 4 to 3. 4 to 3 matlab it lies in Paschen series. Then 4 to 2. 4 to 2. Ground state is 2. Ground state is 2 matlab it lies in Balmer series. Correct? Then 3 to 2. 3 to 2. Ground state is again 2. So this also lies in Balmer. Then what is left? 2 to 1. Ground state is 1. So this lies in Lyman. Then 3 to 1. This lies in Lyman. Ground state is 1. Again Lyman. Now you can check. There are 3 lines in Lyman. 1, 2, 3. 2 lines in Balmer. 1, 2. 1 line in Paschen. So Lyman में 3, Balmer में 2, Paschen में 1. So total 6 lines. Is that clear? We have answered almost everything. Yeah. Anyone having any doubt in this? So your lines are 2. Total lines in Balmer series is 2. So these are your previous slides, Basan. Please take them quickly. First, last slide, and this is your last to last slide. Formula never helps, man. You should know the logic. Until you don't know the logic, you'll be in trouble. There are very good questions which comes on this concept. What do you think? Why I'm explaining this concept in detail? There's a reason. Yeah. Which transition gives rise to least energy photon? Which transition gives rise to least energy photon? You can do it very easily. Without even solving, you can do it. You can do it without even solving. तुक्के मत मारो. Don't do tukkas. Okay? Tukkas won't be useful. Tukkas will not be useful. Use logic. See, in this question also, a lot of you have done it wrong already. Jabki it's a very easy question. Very good, Vijeta Ravikiran. Dhanush, it is not nota men. Kya hai? Obviously, some of them will be having least energy. Chalo. Jagruti, I think you're right. So that's very easy. Apply Rydberg formula. Delta E is RH by HC 1 by N1 square minus 1 by N2 square into Z square. So RH, HC, Z square. All these are constant. So you'll get N2 square minus N1 square by N1 square into N2 square. The important part is this. If your N2 square minus N1 square is more, automatically your delta E will be more. Right? N2 square minus N1 square is important. So if you take from that point of view, so 6 square minus 5 square is how much? 36 minus 25, 11. Or we have to take divide maybe. If you take divide maybe, you take denominator also then. Otherwise, you'll always have confusion. So it will be 11 by 36 into 25. This will be 5 square minus 4 square. 25 minus 16. 9 by 25 into 16. And this is 36 minus 1. 35 by N1 square into N2 square. 36. The number is very low. You can see. And 2 square. 4 minus 1. 3 by 4. So now you can check which is the largest value. You can check which is the largest value. Right? This will be 35 by 36 is almost close to 1. This is almost close to 1. Correct? And this is 0.75. This is approximately equal to 1. And 9 by 25, 16. And 11 by 36, 25 are very, very less than 1. Are very, very less than 1. Correct? Are very, very less than 1. So which will have the least energy? Maximum energy is for obviously B. B is having maximum energy. So obviously B and D cannot be your answers because they are 0.75 and 1, close to 1. Now you are left with these two. So this is 11 by 36. 25 is common in both of them. Ignore. So which is larger, 11 by 36 or 9 by 16? You have to just check that. 9 by 16 and 11 by 36. So which is smaller? 11 by 36 is smaller than 9 by 16. By seeing, you can say. So this is why your energy answer will be A. Okay? You can say that Netra, you can say that, but Netra, sometimes you'll not get them in this order, basically. Right? Sometimes you'll not get them in this order. Sometimes if you get something randomly distributed, like 2, 6, 2, 6, then 3, 7. If your initial values are same, then you can say, right? Or 3, 4, 2, 6, then you need to solve. So if your numbers are here easy, then you can solve. But ideally, the best approach is calculate this ratio. This is better. Okay? Because exam mein, if you do thoda sa bhi here and there, you will get negative. You'll do this as homework. It's a previous year JEE advanced question. Definitely you should try it. It's a very good question. If I remember correct, it's a previous year question of JEE advanced. Okay? It's a very good question. Please try this. Delta is inversely proportional to lambda. Why can't we use that concept? You can use, but you'll get lambda. Na? They have asked energy. So it will be inversely proportional. Okay? Pratibha, you can use that. Delta is inversely proportional to lambda, but it will be directly proportional to energy. You can use that. But n1 square, n2 square is also important in the denominator. You cannot ignore. Yeah. All these questions will be uploaded. You can practice them. It will be good for your revision. Chalo, let's move ahead. ये भी वैसे काइनेटिक एनर्जी का क्वेश्चन है, इजी क्वेश्चन है, बट नहीं, ये तो विल डू इट. वेट. नाउ वी आर मूविंग टुवर्ड्स क्वांटम मैकेनिकल मॉडल. वी आर मूविंग टुवर्ड्स क्वांटम मैकेनिकल मॉडल. दो चीजें पढ़नी है बस, दो फॉर्मूलाज, दैट्स ऑल. देन श्रोडिंगर पे जाएंगे. दो ही चीजें पढ़नी है इसमें. वन इज नो प्रतिभा, यू आर नॉट यूजिंग n1 by, you cannot just use n2 minus n1 na. n2 square minus n1 square is not the only term there. n1 by n2 divided by n1 square, n2 square is also there. You cannot ignore it. Look at your formula applied again, Pratibha, you'll get the answer. You have made a mistake, right? You can get the answer if you look at it again. Now, in this, you study about de Broglie wavelength. And this, you study about Heisenberg uncertainty principle. These are the two things you mainly study here. Can anybody here tell me de Broglie wavelength is applied to what? De Broglie wavelength is applied to what? De Broglie wavelength applies to what? Yes, Vijay, you're right. De Broglie wavelength is for matter waves. You should know that. It is for matter waves, right? So it can be applied to both macroscopic as well as microscopic objects, but it has significance only for microscopic objects. फुटबॉल के लिए उसका significance नहीं है. अप्लाई कर सकते हो but significance नहीं है. ठीक है? So it can be applied to both but significant for microscopic. Both of them. Heisenberg uncertainty principle also same, right? Now de Broglie wavelength is for matter waves. For matter waves. So is matter waves and EM waves same? Is matter waves and EM waves same? जी आएगा. Is matter waves and EM waves same? What is the difference between them? What is the difference between matter waves and EM waves? Obviously, yes, that is one difference. Matter waves require medium to travel. EM waves do not require medium to travel. EM waves travel with the speed of light. Matter waves travel with the speed less than light. Less than light. That is the major difference. And what else? There is one more major difference. What is the difference? EM waves are produced when a charged particle is oscillating around oppositely charged particle. When this charged particle is oscillating, it will generate electric and magnetic field, or you say it will create a EM wave. Whereas when a particle is accelerated, when it is moving, when it is itself moving, it is not oscillating and creating the waves. While it is oscillating oppositely around oppositely charged ion, it will lose energy. It will lose energy in the form of EM waves. So due to oscillation of the particle, EM waves are produced. When the particle is in motion, its motion will be in the form of a wave called matter waves. Correct? That is a difference. So now you use the concept of de Broglie wavelength here. You use energy is equals to mc square and E is equals to hc by lambda from Planck quantum theory and from Einstein's theory, right, of matter mass relativity, mass speed relativity. So if you use these two, you get mc square is equals to hc by lambda. So from here you get lambda as h by mc. Now when you use c here, speed of light, which waves travel with speed of light? EM waves. So you'll get lambda of EM waves here. But you know matter waves travel with a speed less than EM waves. So rather than c, you'll use v. So this formula becomes lambda is h by mv, where v is velocity of matter waves, v is less than c. Correct? That is your major formula of de Broglie wavelength. You get questions from de Broglie. You can convert this formula into many formulas. All of you know kinetic energy is half mv square. So this mv can also be written as linear momentum p. So you can convert here mv as under root, or you can find mv square is 2 kinetic energy multiplied by m on both sides. So m square is 2 KEM, mv will be square root of 2 KEM. Put the value of mv there, lambda will be h by under root of 2 KEM. So it is inversely proportional to square root of kinetic energy. This is another formula. Okay? And obviously you should remember this formula. Then temperature, all of you know kinetic energy is given by 3 by 2 RT, right? Kinetic energy is given by at room temperature, like for monatomic gases at least you can say. Kinetic energy, average kinetic energy according to KTG is given by 3 by 2 RT. Put that value here. Lambda will be under root 2 into kinetic energy is 3 by 2 RT into M. So this gets cancelled. Lambda comes out to be under root H under root 3 RTM. This is another formula. Remember these formulas. This is very, 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 very important. So this is all about de Broglie wavelength. Anybody having any doubt in de Broglie wavelength, please quickly ask. Anybody having any doubt in de Broglie wavelength, please quickly ask. Heisenberg uncertainty principle में uncertainty in position and uncertainty in momentum, or error in position, error in momentum का product should be greater than h upon 4 pi. This is your Heisenberg uncertainty principle. Delta P can also be written as mass is constant, so mv, m delta v, right? So you can also write delta x dot delta v should be greater than equal to h upon 4 pi m. So these two relations you should remember for. You should use these two formulas for Heisenberg principle. Yes, Athar, you are right. Now, all of you know kinetic energy. Yesterday we studied in photoelectric effect was also given by EV naught. Now that formula also you can put it here, and you'll get de Broglie wavelength as what? H by under root 2m kinetic energy की जगह EV naught. तो कई बार you can use this formula also for solving questions. ठीक है? Yeah. So we have summarized all your de Broglie and this. Let's do one question and move to Schrodinger and quantum numbers. Yeah. So do this quickly. We'll move to quantum numbers and Schrodinger wave equation after this. Do this question quickly. We'll move to Schrodinger wave equation after this. देखो Schrodinger में जितना बोलूं उतना ही पढ़ना, अधिक दिमाग मत लगाना. Don't use more brain. More brain you use, more mad you will be. How wavelength came here? Right? In potential formula. How wavelength came there in potential formula? What have I used, man? This is lambda is h by, this is h, this is lambda 2m kinetic energy की जगह EV naught. ठीक तो है? I think I'm getting most of the times correct answer. Most of you are right. That's very good. Yeah. So you see, lambda is inversely proportional to square root of kinetic energy. So if your kinetic energy electron becomes 4 times, then lambda will become square root of 4 times. Square root of 4 is what? Half. So lambda will become half times. Answer done. C option. Samriddhi, it will not be B beta, it will be C. Kinetic lambda is inversely proportional to square root of kinetic energy, na? So if kinetic energy becomes 4 times, then what is 1 square root of 4? 2. So lambda will become 1 by 2 times, na? Is that clear? Denominator में कहाँ लिया है? Where in denominator, man? Where is in denominator lambda? This is not lambda, man. Multiply हो. ठीक है? Yeah. Now Schrodinger wave equation. देखो बड़ा सा गंदा सा equation है. Don't think too much about it. Schrodinger wave equation याद रख लो क्या है. बस उतना ही sufficient. So minus h square upon 8 pi square m del square by del x square. वैसे मैं पढ़ाने को तो डिटेल पढ़ा सकता हूँ बट टाइम नहीं है अपने पास उतना. Psi square plus del square by del y square psi square del square by del z square psi square and plus v psi equal to e psi. तो देखो क्या होता है, ऑल ऑफ यू नो मैथमेटिक्स में कोई फंक्शन लेते हैं तो उस पर डी बाई डी एक्स ऑपरेटर लगाते हैं तो यू गेट सम फंक्शन का वैल्यू. तो सिमिलरली दिस डी बाई डी एक्स डी वाई बाई डी आई दीज आर ऑपरेटर अप्लाइड ऑन विच फंक्शन. दिस इज नॉट साई स्क्वायर, दिस इज साई. ठीक है. So you have applied some operator on psi. Psi is your mathematical function, right? So this total value will give you, when you apply this operator psi, you can take common if you want. Take psi common. So when you apply this whole operator on psi, you get the value of kinetic energy. You get the value of kinetic energy. And when you apply v operator on psi, you get the value of potential energy. For example, d by dx लगाते हो, d by dt, when you apply on x position, you get velocity. Similar to that. When you apply this operator on psi, you get kinetic energy of electron. This operator on psi, potential energy of electron. E represent here total energy. So now this total here is written as H operator psi is equals to E psi. So this H consists of kinetic energy as well as potential energy. This is also known as Hamiltonian operator. Hamiltonian operator. Spelling I'm not sure about it. Hamiltonian operator कहते हैं. ठीक है, ज्यादा डिटेल में जाना नहीं है. Plus sign should come. Where plus sign should come, man? There is a plus sign. Correct. Yeah. So this is what you have to remember. Now see, all of you remember this. This is a differential equation. You have studied in mathematics a chapter called differential equation. dy by dx plus y is equals to e to the power x. ऐसा equation आता है तो solve करके you find y, right? Correct. Similarly, it is also a equation in the form of differentiation, double derivative. It's also a equation in the form of double derivative. So if you solve this equation, you'll get the value of psi. Psi is your function here. Psi is your mathematical function. So if you solve this double differential form में differential equation, you'll get the function psi. ठीक है? Solve हमें करना नहीं है, syllabus में नहीं है, and you can't do it also. It involves complex mathematics. You'll learn it in most likely degree. ठीक है? तो इसको solve करने के बाद you'll get psi. What is psi? Psi is a mathematical function. Mathematical function. It's a mathematical function. And if you assume electron in the moving in the form of a wave, then psi represents the amplitude of that wave. So psi का physical significance नहीं है. No physical significance. कई बार theoretical question आ सकता है. Because textbook में it is given. Psi has no physical significance. Then what? Why we need it? We need it for finding psi square. What does psi square represent? Psi square represents probability of finding electron. Probability of finding electron. Heisenberg has said you cannot find the exact position and momentum of electron simultaneously. Therefore, you cannot find exact position. You can only find probability of finding the position of electron. That electron may be present here, may be present here, may be present here. So you can only find the probability of finding the electron. Now, जब इसको solve करोगे, when you solve this equation, you get psi का mathematical expression. तो psi का general form of the solution is, now obviously this will be in x y z. इस x y z को polar coordinates में convert करोगे, you'll get psi in x y z. Then you'll draw your point vector of r length x y z coordinates होंगे. Then at an angle theta you'll resolve it as, yeah, just a minute. This will be r angle, यहाँ theta ले लो. This will become r cos theta, r sin theta. Then इसका perpendicular component यहाँ पे draw करोगे, right? एक perpendicular plane, तो उसके components resolve करोगे. This angle phi, right? So you'll get y component कुछ मिलेगा तुम्हें. मतलब I'm not going to do mathematics of this. I'm just trying to tell you कि you can convert this x y z into r theta and phi angle, right? बस उतना याद रखो. तो psi को तुम r theta phi की फॉर्म में रिप्रेजेंट कर सकते हो. तो what is r? R is the position vector. If you rotate this vector in this horizontal plane, it can rotate it by 60 degree. So theta is this 360 degree का rotation. And if you rotate it in vertical plane, if it is like this, let's say from here to here, 180 degree. Okay, this vector is lying like this. So in its own plane, it can rotate by 360 degree. But in the vertical plane, 180 degree. So दो angle है theta और phi. Just remember, in polar coordinates, you'll convert it into like this. But I'm not going to detail कि कैसे convert करना है, नहीं चाहिए अभी. ठीक है? तो solve करने के बाद तुम्हें ऐसा expression मिलेगा. So just remember this general formula. This general formula is very important. For solving the question, ये general formula याद कर लो. ठीक है? यहाँ पे a नॉट बोर्ड रेडियस है, k सम कांस्टेंट होगा 1 by under root 4 pi a नॉट क्यूब वगैरह वगैरह. You need not worry about it. तो always remember 1 by a नॉट का पावर क्या आएगा? 3 by 2 plus l. What is l? L is angular momentum quantum number. All of you must have studied it, right? And e की power minus zr by n a नॉट आएगा. N is principal quantum number. R is obviously position between the nucleus and last shell. R. Z is atomic number. Sin theta की power l, cos phi की power m. So using this function, you can find the value of n, l and m. ठीक है, यही पर्पस है तुम्हारा. तो कैसे फाइंड करना है? Always remember angular quantum number l equal to 0, मतलब which subshell it is? S subshell. L equal to 1 आता है, मतलब which subshell it is? P subshell. L equal to 2 आता है, मतलब D subshell. L equal to 3 आता है, मतलब F subshell. This comes from quantum numbers. ठीक है? कैसे आइडेंटिफाई करना है सबशेल को? कंपेयर e की पावर माइनस zr by n a नॉट. तो इसको कंपेयर करोगे तो you'll get the value of n. लेट्स से उन्होंने दिया हुआ है e पावर माइनस r by a नॉट. z को हमेशा a मानना है. z को एटॉमिक हाइड्रोजन लाइक स्पीशीज है, तो एटॉमिक नंबर हाइड्रोजन के लिए हमेशा 1 मानना है. तो नाउ r by a नॉट गिवन है, तो r by a नॉट इज इक्वल्स टू r by n a नॉट इज इक्वल्स टू r by a नॉट. तो मतलब n शुड बी 1. सो ऐसे कंपेयर करके अपने फंक्शन का एक्सपोनेंशियल पार्ट you'll find the value of n. ठीक है? L रैशनल नहीं होगा भाई. Now sin थीटा की पावर if you see, you'll get the value of n. Let's say ऐसे दिया हुआ है sin square थीटा. तो sin square थीटा मतलब sin की पावर 2 है, तो that will give you the L value. And cos phi की पावर, cos phi भी हो सकता है, sin phi भी हो सकता है. ऐसा रट्टा मत लगाना. सर ने तो बोला था कि cos phi होगा, यहाँ तो sin phi दिया हुआ है. साइन कॉस कुछ भी हो सकता है, राइट? जस्ट रिमेंबर फाई होगा, तो फाई वाले एंगल की पावर m देगी, थीटा वाले एंगल की पावर तुम्हें l देगी. ठीक है? तो फाई की पावर m देगी. बट कई बार ये दोनों नहीं होंगे, देन ये दोनों गिवन नहीं है. लेट्स से साइन थीटा भी नहीं दिया, कॉस थीटा भी नहीं दिया, मतलब ओनली रेडियल पार्ट ऑफ द वेव फंक्शन दिया है. इस पार्ट को तुम रेडियल पार्ट बोलते हो, साई रेडियल, और इस पार्ट को तुम एंगुलर पार्ट बोलते हो, साई थीटा फाई. तो अगर तुम्हें एंगुलर पार्ट नहीं गिवन है, देन आल्सो यू कैन फाइंड द वैल्यू ऑफ L बाय कंपेयरिंग द पावर ऑफ 1 by a नॉट. If you compare the power of 1 by a naught, 3 by 2 plus L will give you the value of L. ठीक है, तो इससे भी आ जाएगा L का वैल्यू. ऐसा मत बोलना सर एंगुलर पार्ट नहीं है तो L 0, नहीं, समटाइम्स यहां से भी निकाल सकते हो L का वैल्यू. बट अगर एंगुलर पार्ट नहीं दिया है तो डेफिनेटली M इज 0, देयर इज नो डाउट अबाउट इट. ठीक है, एग्जांपल देखते हैं. लेट अस से ये वेव फंक्शन गिवन है, राइट. ये थोड़ा टफ सा लग रहा है मुझे. हाँ, ये देख लेते हैं, दिस इज इजी. ये वेव फंक्शन गिवन है, किससे कंपेयर करना है बेटा? जो क्वेश्चन में देगा वेव फंक्शन उससे कंपेयर करना है. ये जनरल फॉर्म याद रखना है, इस जनरल फॉर्म को कंपेयर करना है अपने क्वेश्चन के वेव फंक्शन से, है ना. और किससे कंपेयर करोगे? यस बेटा, ले लो लास्ट स्लाइड. मेरा तो जॉब ऐसा लग गया है, मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि आई एम कीपिंग कंटिन्यूअसली, आई एम चेंजिंग स्लाइड्स ओनली. आई फील लाइक आई एम जस्ट चेंजिंग स्लाइड्स. चलो, आई होप यू हैव टेकन इट. या नाउ दिस क्वेश्चन देखो, इसमें एंगुलर पार्ट गिवन है क्या? इज द एंगुलर पार्ट गिवन हियर? इज द एंगुलर पार्ट गिवन हियर? ओनली रेडियल पार्ट गिवन है. सो दिस इज योर कांस्टेंट k. एंगुलर पार्ट इज नॉट गिवन. सो एंगुलर पार्ट इज नॉट गिवन मतलब m 0 है. कैन आई से L is 0? No, I cannot say. Now compare e power minus zr by n a naught. So minus zr by n a naught, z is always 1, तो ignore z. तो minus r by n a naught is equals to minus r by 3 a naught. तो n is what? 3. तो n 3 आ गया. First part is done. Now I said you either you find L from sin theta power or you find L from 1 by a naught की power. Any of these. So let us see. So what is the power of 1 by a naught? So here 1 by a naught की power you have how much? So this is 1 by a naught power 3 by 2 and this is 1 by a naught. This is 1 by a naught power 2, correct? So into 1 by a naught power 2. How much it is? 3 by 2 plus 2. So total 1 by a naught power 3 by 2 plus 2. So you have to compare it with what? 3 by 2 plus L. So if you compare it with 1 by a naught 3 by 2 plus L, your L will come out to be what? L is 2. So L is 2 means which subshell? L is 0 S subshell, 1 P subshell, L is 2 D subshell, L is 3 F subshell. So which subshell it is? Which subshell it is? L is 2 D subshell. So it represents 3D. Is that clear? Everyone, देखो इतनी मेहनत से कंपेयर करके सिखाया है. Is that clear? 3D is the answer. Anyone having any doubt? तो L के लिए दोनों कंपेयर कर सकते हो. स्लाइड ऑफ इक्वेशन. कितनी बार दिखाऊं यार इक्वेशन? लो भाई देखो, खुशी खुशी देखो. ठीक है, आंखों में सैटेलाइट लगा के देखो. हाउ n is 3? बेटा दैट इज वेरी इजी. चेतना, गजब है चेतना. चेतना बेटा, यू कंपेयर योर e to power minus zr by n a naught ना, तो r by n a naught is equals to r by 3 a naught. मैथमेटिक्स करके दिखाना पड़ता है लोगों को. मतलब बेसिक मैथमेटिक्स तो यू कैन डू ना. सो n is equals to 3 ना बेटा. बेसिक मैथमेटिक्स तो कर सकते हो. Now at this stage of time, you can either ask me to revise or ask me to do mathematics. One of these two. Is that clear, everyone? Try this yourself and tell me quickly the subshell. देखो श्रोडिंगर खत्म करना है 10 मिनट में, तो जल्दी जल्दी करो एंड जल्दी जल्दी बताओ कौन सा सबशेल आएगा. 2 कॉन्सेप्ट और बचे हैं, कंप्लीट करना है. n का वैल्यू तो बहुत इजी है, यू शुड हैव गॉट इट. एक्चुअली बहुत इजी है, जल्दी हो जाएगा. 1 चैप्टर तो नहीं होगा. सम चैप्टर्स विल टेक 2 days also. Rohan, some chapters are big, so I can't run through. So some chapters will take 2 days. Vijay, wrong hai. Vijay, you are wrong. Check again. Ganesh, wrong. Check again, Ganesh. Yes, Chandan, yes, Athar. You guys are right. Yes, so that's very easy. Khushi, right. So e power minus zr by n a naught तो now compare it with this. Z is always 1, so forget Z. R by n a naught is R by 3 a naught, so n is 3. So n is 3, very easy. Obviously A is wrong. Now cos theta की power L. तो cos theta की power L, cos theta की power is 1. So obviously your L is what? 1. So 3p subshell. खत्म. 3p subshell. नरेन A कैसे आएगा बेटा? A तो गलत है. n का वैल्यू तो 3 है ना बेटा. n का वैल्यू 3 है तो 2 कैसे आ जाएगा? This is wrong. Is that clear everyone? So all of you should have got it. I'm very happy most of you have got it right. Let's move ahead. तो अब देखो क्या करना है. इसमें से जो फंक्शंस मैंने यहां लिखे हैं, ट्राई टू गो थ्रू देम वंस. बाय हार्ट नहीं करने हैं. फंक्शन क्वेश्चन में गिवन होगा यूजुअली. ठीक है, बाय हार्ट नहीं करने हैं. क्वेश्चन को एक बार ये देख लेना टेबल. इसमें सबके एनएलएम वैल्यू निकाल के दिए हुए हैं. ठीक है, जस्ट गो थ्रू दिस फंक्शन एंड देयर एनएलएम वैल्यूज. ठीक है, अभी देखो साई तो कुछ नहीं देता हमें. साई इज यूजलेस. बट स्क्वायर रिप्रेजेंट्स प्रोबेबिलिटी ऑफ फाइंडिंग इलेक्ट्रॉन. I have already told you psi square represents probability of finding electron. ठीक है, will those questions also appears in CET? नहीं, CET में नहीं आएंगे सब. CET में easy question आएगा, quantum numbers पे आएगा mainly. Probability of finding electron. So now there is something called orbital. What is orbital and what is node? तो orbital is a MHCET में भी नहीं आएगा. ग्राफ अगर आ गया तो आ गया एनसीईआरटी वाला. 3-dimensional region around nucleus. 3-dimensional region around nucleus where probability of finding electron is maximum. ये किसी तो एग्जाम में आया था. Finding electron is greater than 95%. For example, nucleus है. You just keep drawing the points where probability of finding electron is more than 95%. Let's say 96% probability of finding electron is here. Electron is present here by probability. Just a minute. The probability of finding electron here is 98, 95, 96, 98. When you connect them, all these points, you get orbital. So you'll get s orbital. S orbital is spherical. Why you get s orbital spherical? Because when you connect the points, having probability greater than 95%, then you get spherical shape. ऐसे ही p orbital का shape डंबल shape आता है. क्यों आता है? These are called contour plots or boundary surface diagrams in your textbook. Contour plots or boundary surface diagram. p orbital डंबल shape क्यों आता है? Because around the nucleus 95%, 97% electron is here, 98% electron is here. So when you connect these points where probability of finding electron is greater than 95%, then you get a dumbbell shape. These diagrams are given in your textbook also, you can see it. Right, this is your orbital. Then you come across node. What is a node? So node is a region where probability of finding electron is 0. Probability of finding electron is 0. Right, that is called node. Correct? दो टाइप के नोड होते हैं, रेडियल नोड और एंगुलर नोड. डिफरेंस क्या है दोनों में? रेडियल नोड एंड एंगुलर नोड. राइट, तो रेडियल नोड एंड एंगुलर नोड. तो रेडियल नोड, इफ यू सी हियर, which probability will be 0? Radial probability will be 0. Psi square r is 0. रेडियल फंक्शन को स्क्वायर को 0 करना है. एंगुलर नोड पे psi square theta phi, angular part of the wave function is equal to 0. Right? What is the formula? All of you know the formula of radial node is n minus l minus 1, where n is principal quantum number, l is angular momentum quantum number. And the formula for angular node is l. Angular node is equals to l. Now, what is the total nodes? Total nodes is n minus l minus 1 plus l, that is n minus 1. Example 3D सबशेल ले लो. 3D में n is 3, l is 2. तो रेडियल नोड कितने आएंगे? 3 minus 2 minus 1. 0 रेडियल नोड. 3 minus 2 minus 1. 0 रेडियल नोड. एंगुलर नोड कितने आएंगे? Angular node is equals to l, that is 2. there are two angular nodes in 3D subshell. Is that clear? These are clear, everyone? अच्छा, then d orbital का shape also all of you know. 5 d orbitals होते हैं. मैं quantum number separately नहीं पढ़ाऊंगा. I will summarize the quantum numbers also here only. ठीक है, d orbitals 5 होते हैं. dxy ऐसे होता है, x and y. Lobes will be in between the orbitals. ठीक है, this is dxy. Then xz. This is dxz. Then yz के बीच में dyz. These are the d orbitals. I think I have taught you actually. dz square coordination में नहीं बताया है. तो dx square y square dx square minus y square के lobes are along x and y axis. ठीक है. Now if somebody asks you where is the angular node in dx square minus y square, what will you say? तो angular node is at which position in dx square minus y square? So देखो, यहाँ पे इलेक्ट्रॉन है, there are electrons here. You start traveling in this direction, no electrons. But once you reach here, so from 0 degree at 90 degree you have electrons. But in between these two, there is a nodal plane. There is no electron in between these two lobes. So there is a plane here passing like this, where there is no electron, and it will be at what angle? 45 degree. So 45 degree पे you will have a angular node. समझ गए? 45 degree पे you will have a angular node. Is that clear? And एक चीज 3dz square के बारे में याद रखना. इसमें कभी पूछता है नोडल प्लेन कितने हैं, तो नोडल प्लेन इसमें 0 है. ऑल्दो इसमें एंगुलर नोड कितने हैं? इक्वल टू l. l वैल्यू इज 2. These both nodes are conical nodes. Conical nodes होते हैं. ठीक है. So for example, इसका conical node ऐसा आएगा. If this is the lobe, here there is no electron, here there is no electron. So this will be the area where there will be no electron. So it will have a 2 conical nodes. So इसमें angular nodes नहीं आते हैं, याद रखना. अरे फिगर दिखाया तो बेटा, यहाँ पे नोड्स हैं, यहाँ पे नहीं है. ये नोडल प्लेन, इनको कंबाइन करके तुम्हें कोनिकल नोड मिल जाता है. ये कोनिकल रीजन होता है जहां पे देयर विल बी नो इलेक्ट्रॉन्स. ठीक है, डबल कोनिकल, डमरू. ठीक है. हाँ, तो इसमें अगर कोई पूछता है तो 45 डिग्री पे इलेक्ट्रॉन है, 90 डिग्री पे नोडल प्लेन है. इसमें भी 90 डिग्री पे नोडल प्लेन है, इसमें भी 90 डिग्री पे नोडल प्लेन है. ऐसे तुम लोग बता सकते हो अगर कोई पूछता है तो. ठीक है, वैसे पूछेगा नहीं. या उसके अलावा ये ग्राफ्स हैं कुछ जो आपको याद रखने हैं. 3 टाइप के ग्राफ. वन इज रेडियल फंक्शन का ग्राफ, रेडियल फंक्शन के स्क्वायर का ग्राफ, और रेडियल प्रोबेबिलिटी डेंसिटी का ग्राफ. ये 3 ग्राफ्स आप लोगों को याद रखने हैं. व्हाट आई विल डू इज आई विल कंटिन्यू दिस टुमारो, वरना जल्दी जल्दी में तुम लोगों को कुछ नहीं समझ में आएगा. वैसे वी हैव ऑलमोस्ट डन दिस चैप्टर. तो कल व्हेन वी कम 15-20 मिनट्स विल सॉल्व क्वेश्चन ऑन ग्राफ एंड थोड़ा साई, थोड़ा क्वांटम नंबर्स. आई गेस दैट विल टेक 15 to 20 मिनट्स एंड देन विल स्टार्ट द नेक्स्ट चैप्टर. ठीक है. अगर मैं जल्दी जल्दी भागा तो तुम लोगों को कुछ नहीं समझ में आएगा. नहीं रे गणेश, इट विल नॉट बी हॉरिजॉन्टल. देखो गणेश, ये वाला तो हमेशा ही, देखो इसके अराउंड तो हमेशा ही नोडल प्लेन रहता है. इस नोड अगर तुम ऐसे देखोगे तो गणेश पी ऑर्बिटल में क्या बोलोगे? व्हाट अबाउट पी ऑर्बिटल गणेश? Why generally that graph is not taught? I don't know. I have taught it in most of the batches I have taught. पता नहीं I taught the JEE batch or not. Have I taught it in your batch, Ganesh? वो नीट वाले बच्चों को जनरली ये सब नहीं सिखाते हैं. I think Ashutosh has taught it most likely. I have not taught it in your batch. I think मैंने शॉर्डिंगर के स्टार्टिंग तक ही कराया था, उसके बाद I have not taught. But don't worry, मैं इसको रश नहीं करना चाहता हूँ. आई डोंट वांट यू टू डू एवरीथिंग इन वन डे. तो कल क्वांटम नंबर्स थोड़ा पढ़ाऊंगा, श्रोडिंगर वेव इक्वेशन कंप्लीट करूंगा, थोड़े क्वेश्चंस करवाऊंगा उस पे, एंड देन आई विल स्टार्ट द नेक्स्ट चैप्टर. मोस्ट लाइकली इट विल बी केमिकल बॉन्डिंग. केमिकल बॉन्डिंग थोड़ा सा बस नोट्स रिवाइज कर लेना. इट इज टॉट, दैट आई नो, इट इज टॉट, बिकॉज क्वेश्चंस मैंने दिए थे, मुझे याद है. क्वेश्चंस करवाए, आई नो गणेश. पीरियोडिक इजी है, पीरियोडिक कर लेंगे. विल डू पीरियोडिक टुमारो देन. ठीक है, इजी है, क्वेश्चन तो आता ही है. विल डू पीरियोडिक टुमारो, इजी है, जल्दी हो जाएगा. When CET will get conducted after boards, man. If boards happen in April, CET may happen in May or June. If boards happen in May, CET may happen in July, something like that. July first week, ऐसा. ठीक है, तो चलो, we'll continue this tomorrow with some more questions on this, some more graphs, and some more periodic properties के questions. ठीक है, we'll stop here. I could have finished, but वो फिर running जैसा हो जाएगा. I don't want to do it. We'll come back tomorrow. चलो. Then when NEET and JEE, I don't know, man. That depends. Upload this note soon. अभी कर देता हूँ यार, लो. I will upload now only. Ravi Kumar, you should be having these notes, man. Ravi Kiran, you should be having these notes, na? If I am not wrong. चला, I'll upload पूरा आज का quantum numbers वाला part भी I'll upload. Tomorrow नहीं करना पड़ेगा. I'll solve all these questions tomorrow. Ravi Kiran, you should be having, no? They are not clear. ये क्या होता है? They are not clear क्या होता है? Sir, which may, I don't know रे चंदन. पूरा unpredictable है. Depends upon what players they play. Depends lot on them. What players are selected. अरे यार, see, until you don't get the vaccines in the market, this uncertainty will always be there. So don't worry about all these things. ठीक है, तो I will show you where I'm uploading also.